My name is Mark McNeill, and you're listening to Pro Lacrosse Talk.
On Schreiber. Sidearm whip. Scores. Now it's Mark McNeill scores. Hands off for Rabel. Switches hands and scores.
Kylie O'Miller showing off those shifty skills.
Right off the bat, there's Lyle Thompson.
Welcome to Pro Lacrosse Talk, the voice of Pro Lacrosse. I'm Hutton, he's Adam. Together we're bringing you interviews with your favorite players and coaches, as well as news from all 4 professional lacrosse leagues. We're here with Mark McNeill, midfielder with the Archers Lacrosse Club in the PLL. Mark, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me.
No, it's great to have you. We want to kind of start at the beginning of your lacrosse career, Mark. You grew up in West River, Maryland. When did you first start playing lacrosse?
I first started playing lacrosse at probably 5 or 6. So I've been playing most of my life. And when I was young, I used to spend a lot of time over at my grandmother's house growing up, and my cousins would always be playing, and they always needed an extra guy. So that's why I started so young and got the opportunity.
Awesome. And then for college, you ended up going to UNC, where you were a 2-sport athlete, playing wide receiver on the football team and special teams, as well as midfielder on the lacrosse team. How were you able to successfully balance playing football and lacrosse during your time at Chapel Hill?
I actually think playing football and lacrosse because it was so time consuming. With enabled me to do it, I had to stick to a pretty strict schedule, which I think ultimately allowed me to be successful, be able to do that for 4 years.
No, that's great. Yeah, it's probably you were probably really, really busy, I'm sure.
Yeah, it definitely was. But at the time, I was definitely cursing. Oh man, if only this, if only I had more time to do this and that. Sure. But looking back at it, I don't think I would change a thing. I feel like I definitely learned a lot, and also I don't know, it's like my 7-year-old self. That's his dream come true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it was, for me, it was a perfect decision.
I'm curious, how did that work? Obviously, you missed fall ball. I'm sure you were probably one of the more in shape guys coming out of a season, though, for football, right?
I was pretty in shape. I was coming out of season, but I wasn't the best. I wasn't the best in shape guy on the team. I always came out of the season, pretty heavy. I felt like I was pretty quick and fast, but I always came out pretty heavy and bulky from football. Sure. But you get back in it a couple weeks. But definitely keeping busy during the fall, I feel like was definitely helped me out because I didn't get worn out of lacrosse. Actually, wouldn't mind if I got to play more.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. That's awesome. And then kind of following your time at UNC, you got drafted into the MLL right at a school and played for the Bayhawks for a couple years before heading to the Florida launch in 2017. How were you able to kind of make that jump to the pros, and how do you think your skills developed over the years once you got to the MLL?
I think it was a pretty easy transition from college to the MLL. I think one of the biggest things I had to improve on was my conditioning, and I would definitely still think that's something that I need to improve on. But I would say I'd say one of the biggest things, the ball moves so much quicker. Sure. Everyone's way more dangerous. It's really interesting because you talk about nowadays the Redwoods or Whip Snakes or all these great offenses and how loaded they are. Yeah. But people often forget that there's 2 short 6 guys out there, right?
Absolutely.
So just give a little love to the G mids. But yeah, I think that was the biggest transition. But it comes with time and experience.
No, yeah, it's definitely, I'm sure, a challenge, being out there with so much talent. But you decided to take your talents to the PLL last season as a member of the Archers. What convinced you to kind of join this new league, and what did you think of year one?
For me, it was a no-brainer. I kind of, heard that competition was going to be really good. So for me, it was kind of, it was easy. And also, Paul, I don't know, I still have the ball. He signed for me when he was playing at Johns Hopkins. So
that's awesome.
To hear him, hear about him starting the league, I don't know, I feel like I'd be foolish not to at least give it a shot.
That's all. So you kind of talked about getting that ball from Paul, and we didn't even ask you how did you end up deciding on UNC for school? Was that a big process? What other schools were you looking at?
Oh man, so for me it was actually kind of a huge process. So ever since I could remember, I always wanted to go to Johns Hopkins.
Okay.
So, like, for me, you know, I was growing up watching, like, Kyle Harrison, you know, Paul Rabel, like Brian Christopher, those kind of, like, midfielders, and I just wanted to be just like them. So, you know, like, looking back at it, for me to go to Carolina was just, like, such a huge deal to me because, like I said, like, I've always dreamed about going to Johns Hopkins, but, you know, once I kind of, like, got the opportunity, you know, at Carolina, going down there and also being around, you know, my future teammates. It was definitely a tough decision, but definitely one of the best decisions I've made.
That's awesome.
And then also, you know, at Hopkins, you know, a wonderful place, but I wouldn't have had the opportunity to play football there, which is something I feel like I would have regretted later down the road.
Yeah, you got the best of both worlds. Got it all. That's awesome. I'm always curious because I know I work in higher ed and I go to a bunch of high schools, and I live in Towson and I go to St. Mary's every year, and I'm always curious how kids and students kind of transition, because UNC is huge, right? And St. Mary's is such a small, inclusive environment. So I'm always curious how students make their decisions on where they end up.
It was really tough. I think having the opportunity to play both really helped out for me. So I was looking at, you know, UVA, Maryland, you know, obviously UNC, Duke, and Hopkins. And, you know, there was, you know, Hopkins was the only one that I couldn't play sports, so they kind of, you know, hindered it there. But I think, you know, coming from St. Mary's, which is pretty small private school, then to UNC, a pretty big public school, I don't know. I think it was a pretty easy transition. Like, luckily I played football, so I had to be there in the summer. So I remember me being so upset. Like, I graduate, and 2 weeks later I'm on campus. Like, I was on campus as a 17-year-old. I had taken summer school classes, so I feel like that definitely eased my transition. And I think by starting early.
Going back to the PLL, you know, now obviously it's been delayed a bit. But how have you and your Archers teammates stayed in touch during the off season? What has been your mindset in training, you know, for year two?
You know, everyone's been in touch on, you know, group chats and various different apps. So everyone's been in touch, and everyone, the group chat's always rolling. And then, you know, people are posting in there workouts and everything and planning. So for me, that's kind of the biggest motivator, is just, you know, kind of seeing, you know, my teammates, you know, working out, you know, putting in the effort, and I don't want to be the guy. So, but something I want to, you know, work on in the off season is definitely, definitely, like I said, my conditioning. I feel like, you know, improved my condition, definitely helped my game, and also just, you know, work on my stick skills. It's another thing I've been working on.
Yeah, no, it's great, and you kind of got to, you know, keep training with some of the PLL athletes when you visited Japan last fall and played in the World Cross exhibition. What was that experience like, traveling to, you know, Japan and getting to play, you know, in front of a new audience, but also, you know, getting to experience a new country?
Oh man, it was a trip of a lifetime. It was a dream come true. Like, I could, you know, talk hours about how wonderful of an experience it was. But, you know, again, two of my favorite things, you know, are lacrosse and traveling and, you know, experiencing new things. So, you know, to combine both of them, it's sign me up. Yeah, for real. So, but I thought, you know, obviously going to a new place and carrying new cultures, you know, is really cool and is exciting. But, you know, the lacrosse aspect of it, I just had no idea how big lacrosse was in Tokyo, and to me it was just it was just shocking, actually. When we played, you know, the stands were full. You know, people know the game, and we're just excited, you know, to be a part of its growth. And I would definitely say another part, probably the, you know, in my mind, probably, you know, okay, sorry, I kind of said in there, but one of the big things for me is just of course you kind of know or hear about all the guys on the trip. But it was something to be you know, to experience them and you know, learn about them and just kind of bond and, you know, become friends, just not competitors. I don't know, because, you know, I can kind of be a bit of a butthole on the field. But, you know, but it's nice to, you know, I don't know, to bond with those guys. You know, I room with Connor Farrell, and and he's just like a character.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just nice to see that, on the field, we can all be, at each other's throats, but off the field, be homies.
Yeah, and you definitely got close with Connor. We saw on your Instagram you guys sung karaoke, which was pretty awesome, and we saw some of that, which was cool.
Oh yeah, like I'll say this to the day I die. Like if you ever have the chance to see Evan Connell perform karaoke, please drop everything you're doing and go see him. I just want to put that on record. But yeah, it was great, seeing the fun side of those guys. Like I said, it was definitely like a trip of a lifetime and something like, I'll never forget.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. And kind of go off of your Instagram there, your nickname is Moose, right? And that's led to you using Moose is Loose hashtag during your travels. Where did that come about?
Okay, yeah, interesting. So so that comes. Okay, so a lot of my buddies think I just like made that up one day. Like, oh wow, Moose, like you just made that up. No, when it comes, freshman year in college. Fun fact. Many people don't even know this. A lot of UNC guys don't, but it was Matt Holman who first gave me that name, Marcus's brother, and like it always stuck. I loved it. And then on top of that, like, UNC everyone has a nickname, Bones, Stephen Kelly. You just like, oh, Moose is Loose. And I don't know, just kind of like, that's what I remember it from. So I like stuck with it and ran with it.
Yeah, no, we need to see that used more by the Archers social media, next season. I think it's awesome. Just it just flows well, and put it together with some of your highlights, shutting some people down, and throw the Moose is Loose hashtag on there. We'd love to see that.
Yeah, give a little D-mid love. Never hurts anybody.
Absolutely.
Now, another PLL player that you're pretty close with, another Anne Arundel County guy, is Pat Harbeson. Tell us a little bit about your friendship with him.
Oh, man. Old Drizzy Harbs, Pat Harbeson. I had to do it. I've known Pat since we were children. I believe in competing against each other since like elementary, like middle school days. Used to be the Bays versus the Davisonville Gators. It used to always be a showdown. I'm afraid to admit it. I think they probably got the best of us. But yeah, Pat went to DeMath and went to St. Mary's, so we competed in high school. He went to UVA, went to UNC. We competed in college, MLL, and now in the PLL. So he's a homie. He's a funny cat, and I think it's always funny. He always talks about like how we in college one game, like I somehow cross-checked his ankle, and now I'm a dirty player. I don't know. I'm a pretty big guy. I don't know how that happens, but I just roll with it.
That's funny. Yeah, no, we enjoyed having him on our podcast a few weeks ago. Or actually, it was a little bit longer ago. It doesn't feel like that long ago. But, it's cool to see, too, how you guys have relationships that go off the field as well. And, it goes back to the thing you were saying, too, how you got to know a lot of your fellow competitors and teammates when you guys were on that trip in Japan. So I think, lacrosse is a community, and it's cool to see that extend even into the pro game.
Yeah, and I would even say on top of, Pat, I was guys stick on my head, Marcus, he was a Gilman guy, played against him, so all the MIAA guys. I remember playing against, Tom Schreiber in the summer league, Dominique, so, it's such a small community, and it's, really interesting how, 10 years later you get to, be on the same team with them. Actually, I remember being at St. Mary's and, Gilman, they were a good team, and I just remember Marcus and Greg and a bunch of, Davey, a bunch of guys went to UNC and just absolutely just despising them. You know what I mean? And then now it's just they're the homies.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so I started coaching at Boys Latin this year, and I'm from Philly, so I knew the MIAA rivalries were big, but I did not know how big they were until I got on the field this year.
Oh yeah, I remember because you commit so early in high school. I remember I was a junior, and I see some of the guys that I played against that were already committed there. I'm like, damn, you know, like, this guy. But yeah, but I don't know. Then just become a family, and it's awesome. The rivalry is real.
And it's great to see, how competitive the PLL has been too, just in 1 year. But that wraps up our main questions, Mark. We're going to take a quick break here, a word from our sponsor, and then after that, we'll get into our 5 and 5 segment. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Pro Lacrosse Talk podcast. Today I want to talk to you about our sponsor, Anchor. We've been using Anchor for the Pro Lacrosse Talk podcast since the very start. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place, and better yet, it's free. They allow you to easily record and edit your podcast, and once it's published, they send it out to all the major networks such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and many more. They also connect you with advertisers so you can start making money from your podcast right away. So if you're thinking about starting a podcast today, download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Today I also want to talk to you about Tomahawk Shades. Tomahawk Shades have an array of both quality sunglasses and blue light glasses at a fraction of the cost of popular sunglass brands. Their blue light glasses are perfect for guys like me who spend hours looking at a computer screen when editing. They also have a great collection of sunglasses with pro athletes like Kylie Ohlmiller, Kyle Harrison, Mike Chanichuk, and Chris Hogan repping the brand. So if you want a pair of the shades the pros wear, visit tomahawkshades.com and use the code PLT20 to save 20% on your order today. All right, so welcome back. Now it's time to do our 5 and 5 segment. I'll start off with the lacrosse questions, and the first one I have for you, Mark, is what are some of your top songs on your game day or workout playlist?
Oh, wow. So my tops, what immediately jumps in my mind is Electricity, Dua Lipa. So, that's definitely on repeat on my game day list. Really just anything with any hot beats, female vocals, I'm totally on board with on game day.
Gotcha. And then number 2, who's been your toughest matchup during your pro lacrosse career? It can be more than one, too, if you have a few.
I love always going against Joe Walters. That's always fun. We have a nice little on-field rivalry that I like to keep going. Still have his ball that he signed back in his Maryland days too.
Oh, that's awesome. Number 3, who is your favorite lacrosse personality on social media right now?
Oh, my favorite lacrosse personality on social media right now. Oh, I mean, I gotta give. You know what? Off the top, I gotta give a shout out. I guess to Drizzy Harbs. I love him on social media. And also, Marcus. I think he's a good guy on social media. Keeps me motivated with his constant lax and workouts. It's kind of good vibes.
Yeah, I like seeing his surprise appearances too in Alex Ost's TikTok videos. Those are always fun.
He's got moves, right?
Yeah. Number 4, what is your current lacrosse stick set up in terms of shaft, head, and stringing?
Oh, my current stick. Okay, so I really like SCX. I've been using them for a long time, so I stick with them. I use a Stallion. That's what I got. I don't know. I'm a D guy, so I'm not really too worried about how my stick looks.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then number 5, what has been your favorite venue to play lacrosse at?
I always loved, growing up, like I said, I was a huge Hopkins guy. So, playing at Homewood was, like a dream come true. And we got to play at Homewood. I believe that was my junior year at UNC. Loved it. So, it was always great playing there, and I got to play there, the PLL too. And also I would say playing in D.C. I think that's Audi Stadium. I think that's a really nice venue. Had some great grass. So, yeah, it was a good field.
I've heard Audi is a great stadium. I've never been, so I'm originally from the D.C. area, but I moved right before it was finished. And they were building it, I think. Yeah, I know it's right next to Nats Park, but they were building it, I think, when I was living there. But I heard that's a great venue. I've had a few people have obviously went to the PLL events there, but a few went to DC United, and then my one roommate went to the Defenders game there as well. So it just sounds like a good, RIP to the XFL. But it just sounds like a really cool, intimate environment, perfect for, perfect size for like a lacrosse event.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we go back. Yeah.
But that wraps up the lacrosse questions. Adam, you want to take away the off-the-field questions?
Sounds good. Number 1, what are some hobbies or activities you enjoy doing when you're not on the lacrosse field?
Some hobbies. So I'm a big walker. I love counting my steps. I'd definitely say that's one of my hobbies. You know, I also have a huge sweet tooth. So baking, I love baking. You know, I get to eat it. And I don't know, I would say that's really about it right now. I guess spending time with friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's awesome. Kind of that leads into my next one. You talked about having a sweet tooth. We're always curious, what's your favorite meal, and do you prefer to dine out, take out, or cook at home?
Oh, okay. You know, I'd rather cook at home. I'm a pretty simple kind of guy. Like my favorite food is actually sweet potatoes. So like for me, like ideal meal, just maybe some sweet potatoes, some rice, and really anything else. But you know, interestingly enough, I don't like sweet potato fries. Okay.
Plot twist.
I'm probably the opposite. Like, I'm not a huge sweet potato guy, but I will eat the sweet potato fries.
I'll eat it all.
Oh yeah, I'm probably a big sweet potato probably like 2 or 3 times a week, really.
Nice. Number 3, who is a non-lacrosse athlete you would think would excel at lacrosse?
You know, I'm gonna say Serena Williams would dominate the female game.
Absolutely.
100%.
I forget, someone else had that answer. I think it was one of our women's guests that had that answer too. I'm not going to take a stab at it at the risk of misquoting, but one of our past guests said that as well. And obviously she's a world-class athlete. I think she would excel in any sport she does. But yeah, that's a good answer.
That's awesome. Let's see. And then kind of along the food lines, it doesn't have to be a restaurant, but what's some of your favorite spots to go back to when you're in Chapel Hill?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. Tapo.
Okay.
Yep. Top of the hill, that's definitely a good one. You know, they do have a Connect full set at the back bar that I used to run, so I always love going back there. I'll also say, I don't know, always nice to go. There's never not like special to Chapel Hill, but I would definitely say Chipotle. That's really a go-to. If I'm not, making food, I'm probably hitting that up.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, that's what those do.
Awesome. And then number 5, since most of us are stuck inside for the foreseeable future, we're always curious, what are some, this can be a 2-part, any TV shows or movies you'd recommend, and then any books you've read potentially that you'd recommend?
Aerial America. I read that 3 people, so that's kind of what we throw on that everyone loves, and I highly recommend that.
Okay.
Now, from a book standpoint, I'm not really reading anything right now that's super super special.
I haven't seen Aerial America yet, but I've seen coming attractions of it, and it looks phenomenal. So.
Oh yeah, it's a great fun fact. A lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. I'll have to check that out as well. But Mark, this is great. We appreciate coming on. We like to end on one final question, and that's what is some advice that you have for a young player looking to one day play lacrosse professionally?
I would say keep practicing, and don't give up. Don't give up on your dream. I would say those 2 biggest things, because a lot can happen along the way. But I feel like it's kind of stay resilient, hold fast to your dreams. I think it'll work out.
Absolutely. I think that's some great advice for our young listeners. Well, this has been great, Mark. We appreciate the Moose coming on the podcast. Remind people where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, McNeill's21. Hit me up.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Mark, so much. We look forward to watching you when the Archers take the field.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me, and I hope you guys have a good day.
You too. We appreciate it, and stay safe. Today, I also want to talk to you about Design Tree. On our Design Tree store, we have several t-shirt designs like the Pro Lacrosse Talk tee I'm wearing today, our Blast Lacrosse shirt, Crosses Medicine shirt, and many more designs on the way. Design Tree is also home to hundreds of other t-shirt designs in the realm of sports and pop culture. To help support the podcast, please consider checking out our Design Tree store at dsgntree.com/pro-lacrosse-talk and grab a shirt today.